gotta be quiet. No, you gotta be quiet. No, you gotta be quiet. Aloha and welcome back to another video. Sorry about this being late. I know. One thing, there was power outs. If you don't know what's going on the West Coast, there's been a lot of stuff throughout 2021, and one of them being power outages. 2020, late 2020 and 2021, and one of them is power outages throughout parts of California, Oregon, Washington. There's been blackouts, and that affected me. Plus school stuff, plus mismanagement of my own time, which I apologize for, but also hopefully it's not as bad because you guys have been getting videos, pretty much every day, every other day with those Punisher uploads, so hopefully this it wasn't too long of a wait, but I'll try my best, man. I'll try my best to get this out more consistently, and again, I'm sorry about that, but yeah. Hopping into the Swamp Thing Part 2, I covered Part 1 last time, and I showed that I picked up Part 2. Well, this time I read Part 2, and I'm going to tell you what I think. Part 2 of the Swamp Thing is the final issue in this limited series, and kind of is priming the audience and getting everybody ready for the longer ongoing series that's coming out in actually it's real soon now, because I was going to say 2 months ago, but I was saying that like 2 months I was saying that like a month and a half ago, so it's almost here as far as I know. Is it a week from now, a few weeks from now, something like that? The first issue of that 10 or 12 part series is coming out, and the first issue of Swamp Thing was good. Click the card in the top right to hear me talk about it, but it was good, but it was a bit too dialogue heavy. It was a bit too it was all exposition mostly, and explanation as to what's going on, who these characters are, why you should care about them, how the world is. And this issue was almost too much in the opposite direction. It's not too action packed, but it almost is. It really feels like they took what the action. It feels like this was supposed to be like a longer miniseries, or this was supposed to be part of the ongoing series that's going to be coming out real soon or something, and they wanted to put something out. They wanted to have more future state titles than originally intended or something, and they just threw this in. It's odd because it's like, again, the first issue of Swamp Thing was good, but it was too, or pretty decent. It was too heavy on explanation and everything set up, and this is like nonstop action. It's pretty good. It's not great or anything. The writing's a bit kind of ham-fisted, I guess is the word I'm looking for, a bit kind of forced at times, and again, it almost goes too fast. I kind of would have wanted a few extra pages to kind of flesh out a few things, instead of it being kind of, all those questions you had in issue 1 that we set up, here's the answers to all of them, boom, you're done. It was kind of, I don't know, it was left a little bit to be desired in that department, but it was still good. It was still enjoyable, and there's some crazy twists and things that go on. As you can see, they get in a fight with the human faction. I'll try not to give out very many spoilers, but the human faction that I talked about that they found in the last issue, as you can see, they get in a fight, and there's some crazy revelations. I don't know if I should flip the page here. Sure. There's some crazy revelations as to what's going on, and how exactly, or kind of the existential kind of reality that these swamp creatures live in. You kind of learn about that, and I don't know, does that give things away? I don't think that gives things away. And yeah, some cool visuals for sure, as you can see, some cool color work, and just kind of a use of weather effects and so forth. And next up we have Daredevil issue, I think it's 27, if I remember correctly. This is a pickup, I haven't read this yet. This is issue 27, yeah. The Black Kitchen Part 2, and again, I don't want to get too far into spoilers, but of course with solicitations, it's hard to kind of, with solicitations, there's certain plot details that are like undeniably people will probably know, right? You look up the cover of some of these issues and you kind of already know what's going to happen here. So as you can see, Elektra has taken up the mantle of Daredevil since he was in prison, and but Null's forces, just like in the last issue, invaded, and here they're kind of dealing with the fallout of Null's forces and the symbiotes and all that. And Daredevil appearingly seems to have been taken over by some symbiotic creatures of some kind, and Yeah, I don't know what's happening because I haven't read it yet, but I'll tell you in the next pulls and pickups what I think of it. And later on, earlier on, I was talking about the tick and how I was getting a lot that was going to be coming in from eBay, and here's this lot. I got a ton of stuff to show, so I'm just going to kind of be flipping through these and showing you here, and I haven't read any of these, but I'll just kind of be generally talking about the tick, and, you know, again, I don't have a lot to say, but hopefully my commentary is at least somewhat interesting, and, you know, hopefully you guys are enjoying these at least to some extent. If you do or you don't, tell me in the comments below so I can improve, or if I shouldn't cover things that I don't have a lot to say on. But I'll try and just kind of talk and ramble for you guys, so you can listen to this in the background while doing stuff. And yeah, love this art here, this the lines and such. What's interesting is this is Chromatic issue 1. It's a recoloration of the first Tick issue. The Tick originally was, I think it's 1988, I think it was 1989. And it ran for a few years, I think it was a few years, because the output was quite slow, and the original series only ran for like 12 or 13 issues, and later on, once the Tick kind of started to hit it big, you know, you got the Fox animated TV show from 1993, once you started getting that, the toy line and so forth, the original Tick series was redone again in color, the first 9 or so issues, I think it was 9 issues, 10 issues, and they were redone in color and in the Chromatic series. Here's the Tick Karma Tornado issue 1, which is one of the many Tick spin-offs, and talking a little bit more about Chromatic here. As you can see, most of the Tick is in black and white. Most of the limited series are, the original series was, but in Chromatic it was kind of interesting because comparing that to this, it seems as if the way that things are drawn in the Tick, either issue, you can kind of tell that the Tick was made to be in black and white, or he's drawn in a way that fits better with black and white. Like, you look at the way the shading is here, and the way the colors are kind of more subdued, and the way the thick lines are, it almost fits with black and white. I don't want to say better, but kind of better. Like, if you look here, again, it's drawn very similarly. Here, of course, there's some years between the two issues, because even though this was recolored years later, it's still the same drawing underneath that was drawn in like 88 or 89. But yeah, but it's cool to pick these up, and I enjoy the Tick. I originally found the Tick through, this is the Tick Karma Tornado issue 2. Love that cover. And I originally found the Tick through Free Comic Book Day. What is that, the first Saturday of May? First Saturday of May, something like that, is Free Comic Book Day, and one of the issues that I most gravitated towards, that I most enjoyed. I remember back before I got into got back into comics. I got back into comics around November of 2020. But originally, when I was into comics years prior, the Tick was always something that I looked forward to picking up on Free Comic Book Day, and was something I always enjoyed. And so I was real grateful to get this lot here. Here is the Tick Karma Tornado issue 4. This looks like Galactus. Pretty cool cover there, quite colorful. I like the stars in the background. Reminds me of like Kirby dots, which is what you call the dots in the background of Jack Kirby's work. A lot of work that he did, yeah, it's Galactus. A lot of the work that he did and the weird kind of dots and such, and kind of cosmic backgrounds are known as Kirby dots. He used it quite a bit. It was his kind of shorthand way of filling out backgrounds and making night skies and such look more interesting, and cosmic scenes come to life. And the Tick 1993 show, I watched a decent amount of. I haven't seen the 2001 show or the 2017 show. This is the Karma Tick number 5. Karma Tornado, the Tick Karma Tornado number 5. And I haven't seen the 2001 or 2001 show or the 2017 show. If you've seen either of those or the 1993 show, tell me what you think of all those shows down in the comments below. Tell me what you think of the Tick as well. I'd love to have a conversation with you guys, keep the conversation going. And but the 1993 show I enjoy. It's interesting. Ben Unlund, who is the creator of the Tick. Here is the Tick Carmen Tornado issue 6. He helped man the show, and I forget if he was a producer or director, but helped kind of run the show at Fox when the animated 1993 Tick show was running. I think it ran from 93 to 96, something like that. Ran for 3 or so years. I think it ran for 3 seasons as well, so a season a year. It's pretty standard, and it was enjoyable. It's not fantastic or anything, but it has a lot of charm to it. And because Ben Unlund was running it, it's interesting because a lot of the episodes are stories that were in the comic books. You know, most of them that I haven't read because I haven't read a lot of the Tick. But from what I've read, I've enjoyed, and that's why I picked all these up. I got a great deal on them. I'll tell you about that in a second. But it's just interesting that a lot of issues were turned into episodes, and that'll be fun to kind of, once I start reading some of these, it'll be interesting to come across those issues. And here is Tick's Giant Circus of the Mighty, which is one of 2, I think there's only 2, Tick Circus issues, which are giant issues, like twice the size or so ish, 1.5 times the size of normal issues. And yeah, they seem like they're just kind of offshoots as far as I know. Geez, yeah, 62 pages. Anyways, oh, interesting. I haven't flipped through some of these. I thought there was sorry about that car going by. I thought that there was, I haven't flipped through all these. Is this all just text explaining different characters and such? Yeah, it is. Okay, so it looks as if it might be, so it's stuff about the different characters and such. I wonder if, interesting. Let's flip through the next one here. You're discovering it with me. Again, I don't have a lot to say on these, but I'm just kind of, I don't even know if I should be covering these. Is this interesting at all to people? Tell me below. I don't know. I'm kind of second guessing whether I should be going over this or not, or if I should just have shown you the covers and moved on. Pineapple Pocopo. I remember him from the cartoon 1993 show. He's quite funny in the show. He's voiced, I forget who voices him. I think it's if I remember correctly, I think it's a bigger name voice actor, someone that you and I would know. I don't remember who he was though. I'll put his name on the screen right now so you guys can see. Interesting. So it just looks like it's stuff like a companion. It looks like both of these are just companion pieces and tell you about what's going on in the Tick universe. And the backs of these are cool. I forget which issue had a real cool back I wanted to show. Oh, it was Chromatic issue 1, I think it was. The back of this is cool. It's like a poster almost, is what it reminds me of. So that's cool. Nice spread there. Shows you a lot of different characters. And next up we have Tales Too Terrible to Tell, which is a kind of 50s pulp style comic. But as far as I know, right, it's written. I think it's new stories that were written for 1989 to 1990, 76 pages, so it's a giant-sized issue. As far as I know, I think it's new stories that were written for this issue, but either way, you can see all the names here, and you can see there's actually some of these aren't actually comic issues. Some of these are like cover galleries from actual existing, like, public domain issues from the actual 50s. So you get to go through its cover gallery and stuff like that. And there's some pretty crazy stuff, as you can already see here. I haven't read any of these. I flipped through some of these while sitting around, but haven't actually sat down and read any of them. I've actually been reading through Captain America the Captain, which I showed off a few pulls and pickups ago. Click the card in the top right to see that video, and I'll be covering that soon. And yes, don't want to flip through too much of this here, but it's cool to see the different art here. And what's interesting is, like, art is art, right? Art stands the test of time. If it's good, it's remains good. If it's bad, it remains bad. But it's interesting to generally see how, the complexity of things has generally, not always, there's plenty of, kawaii art styles that are more reminiscent of more basic art from the past, but generally it's kind of interesting to see how art has evolved over time, and how, oh, here's the cover gallery. I was flipping through before. Some of these are just awesome. No wonder the Comics Code Authority was created, right? But anyways, it's interesting to see how art from decades ago kind of had this kind of more rudimentary look to it. And not necessarily that's good or bad. There's good and bad art from back then. There's good and bad art from now. But I'd love to hear someone kind of explain why they think art has has gotten more complex over time, generally speaking. I wonder why that is. If it's just using, people have learned from techniques. It's like a sociological question, I guess. Like, look at that back, that's awesome. Have people learn techniques from one another, and as one person grows, other people grow. It kind of makes me think about how here's Paul the Samurai, another spin-off series of the Tick. It reminds me kind of how in history there's certain inventions that were created in one part of the world, and as long as another part of the world is also, a developing nation, oftentimes it doesn't take that long for another part of the world to also start developing that technology, even if they didn't come into contact with one another directly. I don't exactly know how else to describe it, and I don't exactly have many good examples that I know off the top of my head, but I don't know. Just a weird sociological butterfly effects, and kind of talking about how one person's traits and things that they do and their actions, how they can inadvertently affect someone else. Just a very interesting topic that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. But as I said, I don't have a lot to say about these. I still have a decent number more to go, but I'll try and speed it up here. Paul the Samurai, number 1. Oh, this is weird here. Okay. Paul the Samurai, number 1. Paul the Samurai, number 1. Huh? What? Huh? I guess these were two different series, because I was flipping through both of these trying to figure this out, and they're different issues, I'm pretty sure. So 1992, this was 1990. So as you can see here, October 1990. I don't know how easy that is to read, but I guess you'll have to believe me. It said on the front probably, anyways. No, it doesn't. But anyways, and then right here, if you can see here, July 1992. So they're different. They came out in different years. They're both Paul the Samurai number 1, and they're both different issues. I guess it's two different series, but it's kind of weird, right? I don't exactly know. And then cool to see advertisements for different issues here. This is an advertisement. Cool kind of art there. Interesting art, I should say. But it's advertising man-eating cow number 1. We have that, where I'm going to be showing that off in just a minute here. But first I'll show off Paul the Samurai number... what did I flip through? It's okay. Paul the Samurai number 2. And it's interesting how the text here, red text, green text, green text. So are the greens in the same series, I guess? I don't know. It's odd. A lot of line work there. It's crazy. And once again, if this was colored, I almost wonder if it would... that's a whole nother question for another day, whether coloring issues can take away from the artistry of someone's penciling, or if... I think in the end, in my opinion at least, I think it comes down to coordination between the two. I think in certain instances, color can take away from someone's line work, but I think if it's done right, it can improve it. The color can be improved by the art, obviously. Just color on its own doesn't matter, and just, you can have a comic with... you can have a comic with colored art, but you can't have a colored comic without art, if that makes any sense, right? You need good art in the end. But I think if the art's good enough, it doesn't need to be colored. But I think in many instances, if there's coordination between the artist and the colorist, the color can help improve the art and make the experience more immersive, in my opinion. But that's not always the case. And if there isn't that good coordination, which oftentimes there isn't, there can be a level of kind of disconnect between the two, and the color can make the art suffer in a way by masking some of the artistry. I don't know. Anyways, and if you haven't read anything from The Tick, I recommend it. I don't exactly know what to recommend because I haven't read enough of The Tick, but it's a very comical superhero universe. All these are in the same Tick universe, and it's very comical, kind of plays to the tropes of superheroes and comics, and kind of averts your expectations. And there's a lot of parody characters that are basically rip-off clones of existing characters, but with some kind of comical twist, and that's always fun to see. You got a cool night sky actually right there. I like that. Black and white helps, is always cool to see. If something's in black and white, it's always interesting kind of seeing nighttime scenes in black and white, because the sky and stars are already black and white. Anyways, you got some cool art there. And what was I going to say? The 2017 show. Again, if you've seen it, tell me in the comments below and tell me what you think of it. But that one, I think I'm less interested in seeing than the 2001 show. I have to still finish the 1993 show. I recommend it if you like The Tick, but it's only decent. It's above mediocre, but it's only like slightly above mediocre. It's kind of bland. It's fine for what it is. It's fun, but it's not really something you should go out of your way to watch unless you're interested in The Tick. If you're interested in The Tick, why not watch it, right? There's some of the plots that go over on the show. Oh, that was Man-Eating Cow. Number 2. I don't have number 1, but it's interesting to see. Once again, we saw the advertisement earlier for Man-Eating Tick number 1, I think it was, right here. So, I didn't get number 1, but I got number 2. And here's Chainsaw Vigilante, which, did I show that issue off? I picked up another issue, Chainsaw Vigilante number 2. I picked up, The Tick, Chroma Tick, I think I got issue 9 as well. Did I show that off before? I don't know if I showed that off before, but I'll show it off here. But I picked up Chroma Tick issue, is this issue 9? Issue 9, yeah. And there he is, right? I'm pretty sure it's the same guy there, and anyways, I don't know if I showed off that issue in a past pulls and pickups. I honestly forget, but I'll just show off a few pages just for the heck of it. And look at that! Look at the height there. Just it's cool to just I like ogling some pages of sitting there and just looking at some pages while relaxing, not even reading a comic, but just opening up some pages in certain comics and just staring for a minute and just kind of admiring the artistry. And sure, I mean, it's not like it's some of the lines aren't exactly straight and such, but it gives it a certain kind of quality. It's not realistic, but it doesn't need to be realistic. It's cartoony and but it's well done, and you look at that, it really gives you a grand sense of scope. It's something you'd see someone draw in art class, with perspective. I don't know if anybody of you have taken art classes, and I took a few, and I suck at drawing, but but I took a few nonetheless. And perspective and depth of field and learning how to draw, having your line work kind of point towards a certain part of the image and kind of elicit certain kinds of emotions and elicit certain kinds of depth, basically, and to create depth in your art is something that's hard to do, but it's something that they talk about. And they have you draw buildings exactly like that. They have you draw high rises next to one another and try and make it where they look as if they're apart from one another, yet there's space between them, yet they're all at different levels and such. And anyways, just what it reminded me of. Here's Chromatic number 9. I didn't pick this up in this other lot, and I think I actually might have shown this off in another pulls and pickup, but I honestly forget. So I'm going to just flip through this real quick, and probably because I'm going to be comparing it to stuff. And if you compare it to Chromatic issue 1, it looks as if the colors are a bit more vibrant. I wonder if that's because by the time, well, that's just my copy. It might just be my copy, but it could also be because I don't know how long it took them to go through, because this is like I said, Chromatic only went through like, they didn't do all like 12 issues of the original series. They only went through like 9 or 10 of them. I think it's 12 issues of the original series, 12, 13, 14, something like that. And so they only went through like 9 or 10. So even then though, I wonder if it took them a while to get through it all. I wonder if it took them 2 years or something, if they spread these Chromatic issues out or something, because if that's the case, then that would make sense. Newer printers and such, slightly newer printers, I mean, you know, or maybe this is a reprint at some point. I think it's still an old issue. It's still from like 90 some point, but this was 94. Yeah, this might be a reprint, 94 there. A reprint of a reprint, because all these are technically reprints. But you got some cool night sky there, and I don't really want to show this off too much because this isn't part of that lot. And after Chainsaw Vigilante, I think that's it. I think that's all I have to show here. That was quite a bit. Thank you for watching and sitting here with me, and for those that actually watched the whole thing, wow. It's crazy. People want to watch me just flip through stuff and talk randomly. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. That was just insane. Look at all this stuff. I got 15 issues here, 15 issues for, it was going to be like 25 or so bucks, but then there was a $5 eBay credit, plus I already had eBay credits because I had to return something. So really I got the lot for like, what was it, for like $8 or something, which is crazy. I mean, if you don't want to count $8 for 15 issues is insane to begin with. But and some of these are giant sized. But even if you don't want to count that, even if you want to, you know, say that the eBay credit counted, I still got it for like, I still got a lot of like 15 comics for like $14, was it, something like that? Yeah, like $15, something like that. So like $1 an issue is great, as you can tell. Look at all these. I'm just dividing them. I'm just dividing them and going through here. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. You guys are fantastic. If you liked the video, tell me down below. Tell me about the Tick. What do you think of the Tick? You like the Tick? Have you seen the Tick series 2001? Have you seen the 2017 show? Have you seen the 1983 show? What do you think of all of them? Thank you for watching, and have a good day. Aloha.